Do you remember what it was like as kids playing basketball? Two captains picking which players they want on their team, and as a kid, that was easily the most nerve-wracking and ego-busting experience that I think I've ever been through. And nobody wanted to get picked last. You're just standing there awkwardly not knowing what to do with your hands and judging each pick that comes before you. Like, him? Are you kidding me? Justin? The dude's wearing sandals! Personally, I had a lot of experience with this as a kid because what I'm about to say might shock you, but I'm not good at basketball. In fact, my entire life, I made one basketball team, and I was on the third string. Yeah, not the starting lineup, not the second string that goes in if the starters need a break. The third string, the team who gets sent in during the pregame in order to warm up the refs. You know how embarrassing it is to tell someone that you play basketball and they're like, what position? And you're like, warm up. I warm up the refs. Like now as an adult looking back on it, I have so many questions. Like, how bad as a ref do you have to be that you need a full quarter of basketball with mid-players to just be like, 13. I'm pretty sure that was a double dribble. And if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have told you that as an adult, those scenarios are far behind me. But then this week happened and I had flashbacks to standing in that very same lineup of players all over again. Because IGN, the premier publication of gaming media, went on a spending spree this week and pretty much bought up the entire gaming media industry. And this list is so absurd. I mean, IGN now owns publications like GameIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, Dicebreaker, along with IGN now gaining shares in other sites like Digital Foundry, Outside Xbox, Push Square, Nintendo Life, Pure Xbox, and a publication that I just found out about, Time Extension. And you might have noticed that notably missing from that lineup is hailing from Austin, Texas, your power forward, standing in at a commanding 5 feet 10.5 inches, a University of Phoenix dropout, Bryant Chappel. I mean, seeing that list of all those publications that, at least in my mind, we've competed against over the last 7 years get bought up, I mean, it took me right back to that basketball court and IGN essentially being like, all right, so we're going to take GameIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, VG247, and of course, Rock, Paper, Shotgun. And meanwhile, I'm just like standing on the court being like, excuse me, yeah, forget about somebody. Oh, of course, I'm so sorry. Dicebreaker. Take the sandals off, put your shoes on, let's go. But you know, having had a week to like digest this, along with multiple conversations with my therapist, being that kid on the court and not being picked this time around probably isn't the worst thing. Because IGN buying up the entire gaming media landscape is going to cause so many ripples that we haven't even begun to see yet. Like moving forward, developers are only going to have one place to promote their games. A ton of journalists and video game fans are going to be losing their jobs after this buyout because of so much redundancy. And gamers, I mean, think about it. Gamers are going to have a huge drop-off in the variety of gaming content that's out there. I mean, in many ways, this week, we saw the death of gaming media. Dearly beloved, we are gathered today to mourn the loss of gaming media. Although they are gone, they are still with us. Because if you want video game trailers, IGN has you covered. If you want interviews with video game developers, IGN has you covered. If you want first look at gameplay, IGN has you covered. If you are craving clickbait garbage that serves as an embarrassment to the entire industry, well, Kotaku, still here for that. And you know, looking at this like from a developer perspective, this news has to suck because each one of those publications had their own sizable audience. But now, you only have one place to go to promote your game, and hopefully they're still willing to do that. IGN now holds the power to dictate which games get coverage, how much that coverage might cost a developer, or which games get their coveted 10 out of 10 video game score. Like, zoom out and realize that just last year, there were 12,000 video games that released. As a developer, you now have to compete against those 12,000 other games to get your game to the attention of all the gamers in the world, and you just have IGN to do it. Whereas in the past, if you got turned down by IGN, you could go to Eurogamer, GameIndustry.biz, and hopefully get a much different perspective than IGN's take. And I think the thing that I'm most concerned about is like the loss in variety, because it's going to be massive. GameIndustry.biz, it hit such a unique niche. You know, they focused on like the inner workings of the video game industries. Buyouts, mergers. The content felt like it was focused for more of the professionals in the video game industry, and unfortunately that content isn't super sexy or clickbaity, so I'm genuinely interested to see, like, do we see a change to GameIndustry.biz? Alright, so my article for today is talking about how Xbox is parting ways with their long-term marketing firm. Whoa, I'm gonna stop you right there. That title, not sexy enough. Let's try Xbox terminates business relationship leading to mass layoffs and ruined Christmases. Like I said, not getting picked for Team IGN, probably not the worst thing to happen to this channel, because gaming media is definitely evolving. You know, I see it from my end. Journalists who've in the past like focused in and spent hours writing articles. Those individuals are now competing with social media accounts that can make a post and have it go viral in the amount of time that it takes a journalist to write an article. And this evolution is only going to be more complicated because of AI. I mean, we are already seeing a bunch of AI written articles in gaming, but that number is going to increase 1,000-fold. So when I look at the landscape evolving so much and facing so many challenges, it almost feels like Gamer Network, the previous owners of all these accounts, are kind of like, yo, the water is coming on board and we got to abandon ship. And meanwhile, IGN is like, yeah, we'll take your sites, but potentially that could be like them holding the pins to their very own grenades. Like, gaming media is changing so rapidly that in 2 to 3 years, we could be coming back to this video and being like, oh yeah, remember IGN? And if you're watching this, like, that'll never happen. It's literally happening now. I had a conversation this week where I said, hey, remember Rooster Teeth? And Rooster Teeth was one of the OG godfathers of the internet. And they're gone. When AI journalism takes over and AI video, AI anchors, AI music, AI streamers hit, gaming media as we see it today, drastically going to change. And trust me, following this buyout, I 100% thought hell of a week to stop posting daily video game content, because now, more than ever, I feel there is a need for an IGN alternative. But as AI gaming media hits its stride, channels like what we are trying to accomplish now are just going to stand out even more. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my perspective is completely off, but I've been looking at like this whole AI conversation in the sense of like IBM ThinkPads, right? They're good. They get the job done, they work, they're a laptop, and people like them. They are the AI-driven content, if you will. But Apple sells that very same laptop that does the very same thing, but it's sexy. It has a soul. It feels like a piece of art. And it has this special feeling that when you look at an Apple product, you say, that is a cool thing and I want that. We as a channel, if we want to survive in that new media landscape, have to be that Apple product. We have to have a soul. Or, I mean, I could just be completely oblivious here and forever doomed to being on the third string for the rest of my life, just warming up the refs. Instead, this time, instead of basketball referees, it's AI.
Are you listening?